Namathu Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Tripledam, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And good evening, everyone. So today is the Tuesday night, the night that we will have a discussion after this half an hour of a meditation. So as usual, we have a half an hour chanting, in which again, just to give you a flavor of a chanting, and also a practice. Although we do not know the language, at least we can use it as a form of a reflection, recollection, and also a form of a meditation. A recent research also suggests that chanting of any mantras for around 15 minutes does help to develop the positive vibes and effects to the brain, and which also affects to the physical well-being too. So it suggests that not only the mental well-being by paying respect and speaking out loud, but it affects our body as well. Each tunes and that we speak out, the vocal cords help to affect our brain, such as hypothalamus, and it affects to generate a positive feelings. Further on, if we understand the meaning and we chant with that meaning, we will get more understanding of it. And if further on, if we have a faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, those chantings becomes even more meaningful. And it connects with us, with the practice and the Dhamma. So this is a time for the reflection and practice of a meditation. Simply sitting in a comfortable position and bringing your attention to the moment here and now, leaving all the belongings, all the responsibilities aside, and focusing on the sitting body. This preliminary advice will be repeated again and again. The basic practice will be repeated again and again. It doesn't matter how many years we have been practicing, the basics are always the same. And when we understand and we have done properly on the basics, the rest of other things becomes easier. And everything becomes more meaningful. The Dhamma is not complicated. Dhamma is very simple. Our conceptual understanding and our intellect always wanting beyond the reality, beyond the Dhamma. So we want to be special, or a person who knows more, a deeper, or projecting oneself as superior, and so on. Even the practice, identifying oneself with this amount of a practice or that amount of a practice, and so on. It's simply establishing our ego, egocentric. And we will be projecting ourselves on the basis of what we have known and what we have understood. That this is me, and that I know. And every action that we have performed, waiting for the recognition, or waiting to be recognized. And these all, we are trying to be special. And even the practice of the Dhamma, practice of a meditation, we try to think to be special after the practice. Whereas the practice of the Dhamma is making us to be normal, making us to be simple, down to earth. It's like a rice in a paddy field. When a rice is still not ripened, it points up to the sky, thinking that I am the best. This is me. Look at me, how tall, how beautiful, and so on. But once the ripened rice gradually bends and maintains its pristine purity and gold. And once it's become a gold, then it's ripened, ready to collect. Everyone wants to have it. So practice of the Dhamma is like that too. The more we practice, the more we understand. There is a humility, humbleness, generates. So practice of a meditation is not to be special, but to be normal. Dhammata, in Pali words called Dhammata or a Dhammada. It's the simple, as it is, rather than someone who is. So in the practice, that's why we learn to be normal and learn to know that normality, what's going on, what is happening in the body, in the mind. Not expecting what will be after we have recognized that. Not expecting to be. After this practice, I will be super cool. I will be special. But understanding the reality. What is happening in our body, what is happening in our feelings, what is happening in our thoughts. And it is not just replacing with the old thoughts or old memories or old understandings. with a new thoughts and a new attitude. We have to take it into work. Applying it in our day-to-day life. And those application helps us to see that how much have we developed. As we see from the Buddha's lifestyle, he was so famous, and yet there are so many people, or even so many ascetics, didn't know him. How humble he was. Despite of being such a special person, but he kept himself so simple. And that is another reason why all the Buddhist monks, particularly in the Theravada tradition, once they are wearing the robes, we do not know who is a senior and who is a junior. We do not know that who is the qualified and not qualified, who is intelligent and not intelligent. You can only recognize their status or their ordination or their knowledge after some communication, after living with them, and after studying together. Sometimes we never know, we may be staying with the noble ones. As we have the stories that the novice monks were arhats, the noble ones. And yet they were respecting the monks, who possibly just a new monk, never understood the Dhamma yet, just the trainers. So the Dhamma, once we have fully understood, it makes us to be Dhammadhara, just a normal one, simple one. And here we're practicing to be simple, normal, down to earth. So knowing or studying is to know, and knowing is to leave or let go. And let go is not like letting go everything and doing nothing, but let go to develop freedom, the purity. And that is what the Buddha's teachings. As you see in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, the first discourse of the Buddha, he is pointing in that discourse. The human beings are looking for happiness. Some would go very extreme, it's called attakilamathan, torturing themselves. And some would go kamasukhallikan, so sensual pleasure, entertaining with the material gains, pleasure, hoping that it brings happiness. The Buddha's advice is to go and investigate deeply on it, so we understand from our own experiential level, experiential understanding about it. That these are not the source of the happiness, but even source of the happiness for this life. I forget about the next life. I forget about the end of the journey. And further on, the second discourse that the Buddha taught is explaining or giving us advice. To contemplate to reflect on who we really are. What we think we are is not what it is. It's anatta, non-self. Nothing is what we call unself. That is the teachings of the Buddha. That nothing is permanent. So on the basis of that teachings, but we have to understand that the practice is not to generate or illustrate ourselves as I am special, or as I am important, or as I am very different. And these are all possible by reflecting ourselves and practicing to know things as they truly are, what is happening when it is taking place, here and now. My job is to recognize this is happening, knowing that this is happening, and with a clear awareness, seeing that, seeing the reality pertaining to itself. And having seen the reality, we understand that things are conditioned arises. Nothing belongs to us. Nothing that I can make. And here, understanding everything but not holding anything. That is a real practice. So, whatever phenomena arises, this arising phenomena is subject to cease. We simply know that and let it go. Not holding, not pushing it away, but simply knowing, seeing and letting go. So with this in mind, continue practicing for a few moments, and we'll have a break before the discussion. So continue practicing.